So if you're a veteran of taking SuperFeast herbs, you're going to understand how pivotal Jing Herbs, Jing herbs, are in our long-term journey with tonic herbalism. If you're new here to the SuperFeast crew, get ready to get very intimate with your own Jing energy and the Jing herbs that help us to cultivate it. So Jing energy, very simply, it's our foundational energy. It lives in our kidneys. It relates to our genetic potential, our sexual vigor, our capacity to maintain a capacity for us to regenerate tissue, to heal our body, and to not get into a place where we become exhausted. When we live excessively in the Western world, we leak our Jing. My teachers, my tonic herbal teachers, have always said that a Jing herb should be a permanent part of anybody's herbal repertoire of what they're taking in their daily tonics, because they're basically saying you can't really live in the Western world without living excessively and therefore leaking your Jing. And we've got a big thing in our world where we don't hold sacred our own genetic capacity to express ourselves genetically long term. We don't hold this sacredness of our own Jing energy, that energy that allows us to stand up, on our own 2 feet, not rely on medications and interventions and surgeries. Not that these things are bad, but we take it for granted that they're going to be there. So we flog ourselves for our whole world and whole life, and we hustle in order to get ahead. Sometimes we're trying to get ahead because it's our actual passion, and sometimes we're trying to get ahead because we've got some idea of what success is in the Western world and we're trying to obtain it. Now, that is generally going to be actions that are going to, take us into excess and therefore leak our Jing energy, therefore leak our capacity to withstand degeneration. And one thing we have lost is that primary, holding of, sacredness of that Jing and protecting our Jing at all costs. It's hard. I mean, I've got a toddler and I'm, running a business and, kind of like got, juggling a bunch of things. I'm not saying that we need to do it perfectly, and it's not bad if you feel like you're leaking Jing, but it's a journey for us to realize just how important it is. That's why I talk about like our 80-year-old selves and 90-year-old selves, and start heading on a trajectory that you can really see and feel that at 90 years old, you are going to be standing in your health sovereignty as much as possible. And as much as possible, you're not going to be relying on external institutions or modalities and interventions to come in and help prop you up. You're standing your own 2 feet as much as possible. It might mean you need to slow down just a little bit and get a little bit more sustainable at the way you're living. And I'm talking to you, pointing at you, but 3 straight back at me, because I'm still learning that one. And I will continue to learn it. And I won't flog myself with morality that I'm being bad because I'm not doing it yet, because that is a mental energy that takes you out of the will of your kidneys and the embodiment of your kidneys, where you can develop wisdom and actually make long-term systemic change in your own life that does ultimately cultivate your Jing rather than leaking it, right? And so that is, we're at my house if you hear that banging, so a lot's going on, but I'm going to keep on charging on, because the sustainable thing for me to do is not start this video again. So right now, Jing herbs, the reason we like bringing them into everyone's life and diet, and one, bringing them in for as long as you can alter your lifestyle and ensure that you're not exhausted anymore, but then continue taking a Jing herb here and there in your diet long term, because what they do is they continue to bring a nice flow of qi through your kidney system, so you can continue to move away from leaking Jing and, in a Western sense, taxing your adrenals, and you can start continuing to refine and get a beautiful flow, so then you can cultivate Jing. And the idea is we start adding years and energy and essence on, into our body, lots of blood, lots of sexual fluid, and those are the elixirs that when you get older, you're going to continue to, you're just going to ride like a lot, you're going to ride on those, you're going to cruise on those fluids. So that essence and that Jing energy. And so Jing herbs, we do a lot of them in winter because it's kidney time. Going forward, remember, these Jing herbs, even if you aren't completely exhausted, you can just keep them there as an ally, just to keep you topped up, just to keep your foundations in place, and to ensure that your 90-year-old self is very happy with you and giving you the tip of the hat.